Lords, ladies and legends, welcome back to the channel. John here. I've got my cup of coffee, I've got Crystal, and it's a little bit too damp to do our update on our garden project, so instead Mrs. John Coupland has sent me outside and tasked me to maintain our hot tub. Yeah, this is a bit squelchy. If you haven't seen the video on the channel where we built our gazebo, it's up there in the corner for you now, and it's a little bit of an area for Mrs. John Coupland really to enjoy life and relax. Some people have weird views about hot tubs. It wasn't my decision, I didn't want one, but actually I use it quite a lot, and in this video today we're going to take a look at it. We're going to clean it out and just do a little bit of maintenance on it on this lovely, damp, wet Bank Holiday Monday. So, yeah, let's get it clean. Right, well, Crystal's in here with me now, in the hot tub area. What do you think? Thanks for the muddy paws. This is our gazebo then, and it's if you haven't again seen the video, please check it out. It is chucking it down. We've got these side panels on. They were brilliant. They were. I will link a link in the description below where you can buy these. They are brilliant, and I've got them turnbuckled in. Right, this is it then. This is our hot tub. It is a Lazy Spa Vegas, and actually, I've just noticed that the filter has turned itself off. It does this after 72 hours. Terrible design feature, and clearly Mrs. John Coupland hasn't been out here looking after her hot tub. So let's get the cover off, that's the first thing, and let's have a look at actually what is going on under here. Right, the cover is connected just with these little clips. They're safety covers, so you can't really do it one-handed, but you've got to push in and pull off. Are you helping? You're being needy today. It's nearly dinner time for Crystal. So we've got to get the cover off, and then we'll have a look at what's going on underneath. Right, so the cover is off. You can see that it's looking a bit dirty and dingy in there. This has all gone algae on the side. I need to give that a big scrub. The water has gone a funny green colour. We need to replace the filter. We need to treat it with some chemicals, check the levels, turn the filter back on, and give it a hoover out. Right, first things first then, let's put the filter back on. It's turned itself off, which is always useful. And you've got a safety feature here, so you press and hold, and then you turn the heating on and the filter on. We have it set to, well, that was set to 39. We would never have it set to 39. 38, and then it goes down to 37. And that stays at quite a comfortable temperature. I also need to put a little bit of water in here as well, so we'll do that at the same time. Not sure what that is on the floor there, some sort of debris that's collected, but we'll get the water in, descale it. In fact, I think I'll get the hose pipe in here first. Right, let's go grab the hose pipe. Oh, it's so squelchy out today, it's horrible. It really is, and it's scuppered my plans of finishing off these planters. Squelch, squelch, squelch. We'll grab the hose pipe and then we'll fill up the tub first and foremost. We live in a hard water area of Lincolnshire, and you can imagine what just putting in normal tap water does to these sort of filters. Hello! Hello! So we are going to have to treat the water as well with a descaler just to take all that lime scale out. Right, so the hose pipe is in. Now is a good opportunity for us to grab some chemicals and a filter and bits and pieces that we're going to need. And I'm also going to put this on charge. This is the hoover. It's a vacuum that hoovers all the gumph out of the bottom of the hot tub. So the vacuum's on charge now. It's a Lazy Spa vacuum, and what it does is it's got a mesh filter in here, so it sucks up the water, sucks up the debris. The water comes back out and the debris all gets caught in the mesh. Really simple to charge up. Charges up through USB, and we've got a USB charger on the wall there. More squelching. We've got a dedicated area in our little side shed here for all the chemicals and bits and pieces that the hot tub may need. So we'll go in here, select our chemicals and have a look and see what we're going to need today. Right, first things first, we need a filter. Yes, put that there. We're going to need some descaler. Yes, put that over there. Put that there, actually. Descaler. We're going to need some water dip test strips to tell us what chemicals we need in the pond. We're going to need, not that, because that's empty. We're going to need some of this. This is chlorine granules. We're going to need to shock the pool because it hasn't had chlorine in for a while. We're going to add some clarifier and algicide as well, just to get rid of any nasties that might be lurking in the pond. Right, I've got all my stuff then. I just realised I keep calling it pond. That's because people on Twitter call it a pond. It is a little bit like that. It's certainly like that out here today. But we'll go over to here. We'll check on the progress of filling it up, and then we'll do the dip test. So here's all the chemicals and gubbins that I've got from the shed at the moment. Filter, as we say, chlorine granules, dip test, algicide, descaler, fast action tablets. They're chlorine, we're going to need them as well, and clarifier. I will at some point need either pH plus or minus, but not sure at the moment without doing the dip test. So first port of call, change the filter, dip test. So the filter is housed in this little box here, which just unscrews, and then we'll be able to see the state of the current filter. So take that off and be careful not to turn it upside down so all the crud doesn't go everywhere. Actually, I'm going to need a brush as well. I haven't got that, and probably a skimmer. You can tell that this hasn't been looked after very well recently, and I'm blaming Mrs. John Copeland because the water is quite cold, 25 degrees at the moment. That's obviously not comfortable enough for you to enjoy as part of the hot tub. So I really wanted you guys to see this, because I'm just going to crack open the filter now and see what the condition is. So this looks good. That's fine. That's the housing. Yeah, that is vile, actually. That is disgusting. That's the worst filter I've ever seen. They're washable. We stick them through the washing machine, but actually that is grim. And I'm embarrassed at the fact that I have to show you it looking like that. So first and foremost, let's get a new filter. And they literally just bung in here, back onto here, and then put back on, and that will start filtering out some of the nasty that's in here. So I've replaced the filter, and as I've gone to access the next bit, which is the chemical connect thing, I've had a terrible thing happen in that it's snapped off. So the actual unit that is connected to the pump here, so the pump comes through here, and it goes through a little plastic nozzle. That plastic nozzle has broken off. Now I think it's an interchangeable part, but at the moment that's some bad times, because that has come clean off there. It's not leaking, and it's still obviously pumping out into the pool, but yeah, not sure if that's going to cause me a problem. Interestingly, you can see in here there's loads of limescale and chunks of just crud that's been filtered out. So it's really important that you descale your hot tub, and hopefully, well, that's something I need to investigate. Anyway, I'm quite upset by that. Right, so water's topped up now. It's up to the maximum. It's coffee time, because I'm a bit cheesed off that I've managed to break that thing off there. I've done a little bit of research, and actually it just holds the thing called the Chem Connect in place. We don't use the Chem Connect, we use the mushroom floater that you can see here. So actually it might in the long term have done me a favour, because you could see all that grime and crud and stuff that was caught up in that little filter that was there. There was no way of getting that out before, so fingers crossed it doesn't leak. That's the only problem. Is that going to start leaking backwards? Because there was a seal there. Is that going to start leaking onto the floor? Only time will tell. Next then is to clean the sides. We're going to clean the sides down, and we're going to do a chemical test, get the bottom all hoovered out, and wait for it to become nice and clean. One thing I forgot to mention as part of the next part of the maintenance is these have got bubbles built in like a normal hot tub. We don't use that. We literally just sit in it like a big bath. However, we're going to backwash the jets and everything just to get all the nasties out of there, just so it will obviously end up in the filter and not stuck in the pipework here. So we'll turn the bubbles on. There they go. So the bubbles are on, and that will just sort of get all the bits and pieces from in them tubes up to the surface. You can see it's foaming a bit, and then I'll scoop it all off with a net, just in case there is any hidden nasties lurking in there. And I'm going to leave them bubbles on for a while, actually, while I give it a clean. It's going to eject quite a bit of the heat, but it's already at 25 degrees, so it's going to need to be heated up as well. I'm on the hunt for my scrubbing brush. Mrs. John Keaton seems to have put it somewhere. She says it's in the shed. I can't find it in the shed, so at this point we might not be able to scrub the sides. It's handy, that, isn't it, when people take stuff, move it, and then don't put it back. Oh no, I'm being blind. It's here. Here's my scrubbing brush. I'm sorry for all the horrible, nasty things I was about to say about my wife. You can see that I've got my scrubbing brush. It's time to scrub the sides. So all I'm going to do here, dip it in, give the sides a scrub, and you can see they're going to come nice and clean. This is just a surface algae, and actually when we treat the hot tub with the chemicals, this will all disappear and get sort of dissipated anyway. So, but you don't need to worry about using it and then dipping it into itself, because it's going to end up getting cleaned anyway. It's coming off. I might need to use a magic eraser or a bit of bleach, but that's going to come off lovely in just a moment. I made the mistake of dropping my brush in here, and now it's bobbing about. Come here. Come on, brush. There we go, got it. So I've given the outside a little bit of a scrub now. This outer shell will be done at a later date when the top's on, but at the moment, looking nice and clean. So I've just turned the bubbles off. They've been running. You can see that it hasn't really kicked out too much grime or dirt from within those pipes, so I'm happy about that. But if there is anything that's been lurking nasty in those pipes, it will now be circulating and going through the filter and into the system. So that's cleaned that out as well. Looking good. The shell is a little bit stained here, but it's not slimy, it's not dirty. The water at the moment is still looking a little bit off colour. We're going to get that sorted. I'm going to need to pump this up a little bit because this is inflatable. But yeah, we're getting there, we're getting there. Next thing to do is to dip test the water, and that will tell us what chemicals we need. And I'm expecting we're going to need to put quite a few chemicals in here this afternoon. So let's have a look. These are individual dip tests, and they tell us how safe the water is overall, the chlorine, the pH and the alkalinity. So I'm expecting it to not be very good. You dip it in the middle, you take it out, and you compare. So we'll just wait, we'll give it a few moments, and then we'll compare it to the tin. We'll put the lid on, we don't want them getting wet. And then we will compare it to the rest of the stuff. It's looking okay so far. The alkalinity is green, which is looking good. The pH is looking quite low, so we're going to have to add some pH. And the free chlorine, well, it's saying 0. That's the problem. There's no chlorine in the spa. It needs to be up here, sort of 5. So we're going to shock it by putting in 3 tablespoons of this, and some tablets as well. That'll bring the chlorine balance up, which will obviously clean the water up a little bit. We'll put the descaler in, we'll put the algicide in, we'll put the clarifier in, and then we'll add just a little bit of pH to bring that pH level up. But the actual alkalinity looking good, so it's not safe, it's not unsafe to get in, but obviously we still need to bring it a little bit safer to make it nice and healthy, and then we'll obviously clean it out, and then we'll be done. So our first port of call then with putting our chemicals in is going to be putting in chlorine granules. This is to shock the system. So it's currently got no chlorine in. We're going to need to bring that chlorine level right up to keep it to a healthy balance after that. So 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to put 4 in here to just bring that chlorine level right up. And that's just going to work its way around the system, around the filter, and slowly bring the level of the chlorine in the pool back up to scratch. That's the first thing. We also need to add some chlorine tablets. These aren't my usual ones I use. These are the only things that I could get recently. I normally get multi-function ones, and they go in the mushroom that you can see here. So we'll put them in first. These are what the tablets look like. They're tiny little chlorine tablets. They are just a tablet form of what we've just put in, and I can actually smell now the chlorine that we've already put in doing its thing, killing off all the nasty stuff. So it's doing its job already. Tablets are in the mushroom then, there they are, and then the top will go on that, and that will slowly release the chlorine into the pool. Next thing I'm going to do is just add some clarifier. It's not really an exact science, this. It's just to keep the water nice and clean. I measure it using this cap. We'll put about 2 or 3 caps in into the pool, and then we'll put it in front of the filter, just so it mixes in with that there. It's difficult to do one-handed, so I'm being cautious. But it doesn't matter if you put a little bit too much in. This stuff isn't going to kill you. It's just to treat the water, make it nice and clean. Being really careful not to drop it in the pool, because that will be bad news. Probably because these are like 20 quid a bottle. There we go, so the clarifier's in. We'll put the algicide in next, just to kill off any algae that might be in the system. There's none, but I like to just put it in just in case. Algicide, here it is. And it's got a child-friendly cap, so I'm going to have to do it with both hands. I didn't film putting it in, but I've put 2 caps of this in, just in front of the filter. Right, descanner time now, and this is really important here in Lincolnshire, because you saw earlier in that filter thing, these filters get full of scale and crud and all sorts of stuff if you don't keep the chemicals up to scratch. You can see that we haven't, so this is really important stuff. So I've just dumped quite a lot of that in here because we've added quite a bit of water today, but the normal volume and dosage is written on here. It's important that you don't mix this stuff and give it some time between dosage of other things. It looks like I'm putting it all straight in. I'm not. I'm giving it 10-15 minutes in between, just to let the chemicals that I've put in start to work and start to get into their system. The last thing I want is a chemical reaction and things to happen. I'm sure everything will be fine, but I don't want to risk that. Coffee break time again. So I just want to check that that piece that broke off in my hand earlier is not chucking water everywhere down here. And it looks okay. A little bit wet down here because I've cleaned the sides out, but it doesn't look and doesn't feel like it's chucking water out. So that's good news. I'm going to have to monitor that, because the last thing I want is to come over here and find that everything's flooded because it's been leaking water. And you can see the water is slowly getting clearer as well. I've been at this for about half an hour now, and the water's slowly getting clearer. It will take overnight to do, but the next port of call is going to be for us to blow this top up and put the pH in, hoover it out, and leave it to settle itself down overnight. So I needed some pH plus. That is what I'm on my way to get. Back and forth, trailing through the swamp. Bonus proton. Bonus Nissan Micra bumper. I've got stuff everywhere. We need to sort some stuff out. This has fallen off, by the way, and Mrs. John Cooper hasn't been bothered to put it back on. It's the front of our tumble dryer. She likes to take it off to empty the condenser, and then just doesn't put it back on. Thumbs up if you like Lazy Coupland. pH plus, we need that, and we're also going to need one of these in a minute, which is an air box to blow up the lid. In fact, let's grab those bits now. I'm going to need this, which connects into this. This has got a little valve on the end. That then connects into this, which blows up the lid. I'm getting bored of this job now. It's one of those jobs where I think, do you know what, I'm going to go out there and spend half an hour maintaining the hot tub. It's going to be nice. I can have some music on normally. We've got a television here. But it's just one of those days where I'm thinking, do you know what? I just can't be bothered. But we're halfway through it now, and you're along for the ride. So we're nearly there. Right, so on my spoon is the pH plus now. You're meant to pre-mix this in water in a bucket and pour it in. Because I'm a massive rebel and I'm totally hardcore, I just tip it straight in. I don't think the necessity to mix it all in is actually going to help in any way, shape or form. So I tip it in, it goes through the filter, whatever, come at me, bro. Okay, so you can see I've got the other filter here. This is the system that actually came with this, but because Lazy Spars are terrible, this packed up, electronical fault, and just cuts out when you try and use the heater. So this is absolutely no good, apart from being a glorified air pump for this now. If you're listening, Lazy Spar, sort it out. So I've got this connected to the lid. We're going to use it now as an air pump, pump the lid up, and go from there. So you press and hold this to turn it on, if it works. It's not working now. It's good, isn't it, that? Press bubbles and it'll pump up the lid. So that's pumping the lid up, and you can see now the lid is nice and firm, and that will keep some heat in. There's also at the back of this lid some reflective insulating foam that I've added just to keep some more heat in, but obviously that will expand as it gets warm, and it will keep the hot tub nice and warm. So useful for pumping stuff up, but I could have done it with a foot pump. So this is a £200 piece of useless kit. Best Way, who make Lazy Spa, tell me that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. And so I'll keep it here just for a lovely ornament and to blow up my hot tub lid. Right, now I'm not bitter about Best Way and their terrible pumps. Next thing to do is to clean it out. So we'll put the pump away, we'll hoover the bottom out, we'll leave it, and then that's job done. I didn't film it, I've just sieved off the top layer of the pool because of a few floaty little spiders and bits and pieces that have clearly been living in the hot tub. They're for free, by the way. And now it's time to vacuum the bottom of the hot tub, and then we are done. For what seems like forever, getting this nice and ready for tomorrow or whenever for spring. It hasn't taken too long. It's taken about an hour of my day. I've been a bit grumpy with Best Way in the process, so thanks for staying with me for that. But actually, as much as I moan about it, I do enjoy using the hot tub as well, and it's quite a nice area to just chill out in. We're really fortunate to have it. So it's looking a bit cloudy because that's the descaler we've put in. I'm going to use the pond hoover. We're going to hoover it all out to get all the grit and salt and whatever comes off our bodies into the pool when we use it, and then we are job done. So this should have been charged up now. Unplug that, unplug it from there, and then we will go and hoover this out. Just before we do use the vacuum, I want to just show you what's inside here from a previous vacuuming. This is the mesh where everything gets caught up. You'll see there's a load of debris and chlorine and salt and bits and pieces. That's stuff you don't want in your hot tub, so getting that out of there is really paramount. What I've done is just quickly backwashed this out, emptied that filter. You can see it's nice and clean. And this is the nozzle where it's like a flexi nozzle. That's where the stuff comes in and obviously shouldn't be able to get back out of. So this is the hoover. We've got it disconnected. We're going to put it back together, clean the bottom out, and go from there. This then is my favourite bit, putting this in and suctioning all the stuff up from inside the pool. And it's quite therapeutic, and it takes a little bit of time, but by the time you've gone back and forth and been a bit meticulous with it, and you'll see in a minute, it's just going to pick all the stuff up from the bottom of the pool. You can see it's just picked that black piece of whatever up there, and we're going to get right up into the corners to get all this dirt and debris up from the bottom of the pool, and that'll be a nice experience then, so you're not sat on sand and grit and all sorts of stuff whilst you are enjoying your hot tub. That's it then, that is really the video over. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, hasn't it? Me getting angry, me getting bored, me getting sad, and me just getting the job done, really. Until next time, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up if you've got one of these. What do you think? Are you a fan of the hot tub? Are you a secret hot tub fan? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. It really helps me with the algorithm. And until next time, have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. And take care. Goodbye.